right, and we're live. Welcome, Amir Gil, to the CyberBytes podcast, CRO at Siga. How have you been, Amir?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for hosting me.
No problem at all. What have you been up to the last few weeks? Busy?
Oh, very busy. We just finished a few months of preparation and launch of our new products in ICSCS 2024 in Atlanta about 2 weeks
Nice.
ago.
And how was Atlanta? Obviously, for the OT space, that's a couple of the biggest events of the year. I know S4 as well, but how was that for you?
It was very good. Around 400 people, really professionals in industrial control systems security. Very, very good welcome to our products. It's a unique and innovative approach, and 2 new products that we launched to basically complete this approach. So it was very, very warm welcome.
Cool. And for a business like Siga, what's the aim of going out there? Obviously, you mentioned the 2 product launch, but is this where you get face to face with customers or prospects as well?
Yeah, basically, this is a very professional event where customers come from critical infrastructure verticals, like water, power, healthcare, all kinds of infrastructure. So it's a good opportunity to show them the new things, to get their feedback, and of course later on follow up and get into meetings and launching the products also in the field. That's the
Cool.
opportunity.
Brilliant. Well, look, Amir, with every guest, we always take it back. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the industry, and kind of how you've ended up where you are today.
Yes, sure. In my education, I'm a chemical and biotechnology engineer, process engineer, in a way. I also did a second degree that basically focuses on polymers. And then after a few years, in 2003, I did business management and entrepreneurship from Swinburne University in Melbourne. So this is how I got to know the industry. But actually, I started my career in simulations of chemical reactions as a research associate in Ben Gurion University in Israel. So this I was really exposed to high level industry. We did a job for Exxon Chemicals. So that was maybe the first time I was really exposed to this kind of industry. In the last 30 years, I did several roles of sales, product management, business management, mainly in B2B software, all kinds of software, output management, testing services, quality assurance, electronic signatures. And then in the last 12 years, I've been doing these kind of roles, sales, business management, product management in cybersecurity. Basically, I started in cyber in a company called ComSign, selling electronic signatures worldwide to secure all kinds of things, documents and software.
Yeah.
You add today electronic signatures and certificates to software to verify that they're original and so on. And then I moved to a company called Promisec. We did endpoint security, agentless for computers and servers, and we sold all around the world. Later on, I moved to a company called OPSWAT. We did data centralization solutions and access control. I managed a few products there. I launched them to the market. And then I was establishing also the Israeli branch of OPSWAT. I managed the branch in Israel.
Okay.
And then I met Siga. And Siga has a very unique solution for cyber OT, for operational technologies. For me, it's very unique because I have a chance to, let's say, to combine my vast knowledge in technology with my education as a process engineer and the experience in cyber. So all these experiences that I collected over the last 30 years in different roles are now basically coming into usage in my current role.
Brilliant. And tell the viewers a little bit in terms of your current position as a CRO. What's your role within the business? What are you there for?
So CRO stands for Chief Revenues Officer. So I'm responsible to bring in the revenues, to bring in the money. It's easy to spend, it's very hard to collect money.
Yeah.
So that's always the nice and interesting challenge. So I have a sales team around the world, in the US, in Europe, in Israel. And so first of all, the most important thing is to create a pipeline and close deals with customers around the world. I work hand in hand with our operational teams and technology teams to make sure that the delivery is good as promised, and then we can collect the money, right? That's we're here for revenues.
Hmm.
So you know, some salespeople work in a mode that okay, I done the sale. That's others people's business to collect. Not in our business, not in my role. I'm responsible for the whole picture. So it's always a teamwork to make sure that once we promise something to a customer, it will be delivered on time, on targets, and then we can collect the revenues and expand. You know, there is a famous saying in sales, land and expand. That means you always look for new customers, but if you know how to manage your customers, existing customers, you can always expand and do more business with them and provide more value to them. So that's my role in, you know, the first and most important role.
Hmm.
I'm also a member of the management of Siga, so I'm involved a lot in strategy, setting the strategy, implementing the strategy.
Hmm.
And of course, since we are a veteran startup, we are still working with our investors. We're towards another rounds of investment, so I'm also involved in these processes as well. And of course, under my team, we have channel management. So I have and marketing. I have a marketing and channels director. It's also about strategy. When I just joined Siga in 2022, it was partial direct sales, partial channels. So I defined that in Israel we sell direct
Hmm.
and with channels, and out of Israel we sell only with channels. So that's
Okay.
our strategy, and we invest a lot in getting new channels and enabling our channels and selling together and supporting customers. So that's
Cool.
more or less the things that I do.
Brilliant. And you mentioned there one thing that was quite interesting. So in Israel, you sell direct to customers, and then out of Israel, you go directly through the channel. What's the main reason for that?
Well, it's about cost of sales
Hmm.
and, of course, the access to customers. If you want to really get to your end customers in territories where you don't have an office, either you set up an office, you put people, train them, and they sell direct. That costs a lot.
Hmm.
Or you partner with channels that already have customers and relationships and support system, technology teams that can implement your product locally. You know, it's also about language and culture of business in each territory. So that's the right approach in our view, how to get into the market in territories around the world.
Brilliant. And look, I know you're not one of the founders of the business, and you're coming up to your 3-year anniversary. But talk to me, like how did Siga come around? Obviously, you work very closely with Amir, the CEO. So please, if you can, let us in a few secrets.
Yes, sure. So first of all, Amir was about 12 years in the internal security organization of Israel called Shabak. They had a special division that is, today it was transferred to be the Israeli Cyber Authority, but before it was established, a special division in Shabak that was responsible for the defense, cyber defense of critical infrastructure of the state of Israel,
Hmm.
which is, you know, objectively is maybe the most attacked country in the world per capita. Okay, we got a lot of friends that are trying to attack us. So it's a major role to do to basically defend our critical infrastructure. And in this role, Amir was exposed to policy settings, choosing the right tools to defend this infrastructure, implementing it, helping these organizations of power, water, healthcare, all kinds of infrastructure to implement the right tools and audit them and advise them and so on. And in this role, he found out that there is a real gap. It's not only about technology and knowledge and so on. It's about real tools to make the right decision. So I want to share with you one nice slide, and a story that Amir told me that helped me understand really the challenge. Okay, so Amir had about 15 years ago or more, had a dinner with a friend of his, which was the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer of a power station in Israel.
Okay.
Yeah. They had a very nice dinner and enjoying themselves, and then the CISO got a phone call. And on the phone were engineers from the operations of the power station saying that they are seeing some problems there. And they are suspecting it may be a cyber attack.
Okay.
And basically in this point, the CISO had to take two main decisions that I'm sharing now in this slide. Okay, the first decision is to decide, is this an operational issue or a cyber attack? Okay, it seems obvious, right? But you didn't have much tools to take the decision, just conversation with the engineers in the field, asking some questions, but not real tools. Now, let's say that he decided that this is a cyber OT attack. Now the responsibility on this event moved from the operational guys. They have failures 2-3 times a month. The operational, they know how to deal with it. Now the responsibility moves to him as the CISO of the organization.
Yeah.
And he did not have much tools to take this decision. And the second decision he had to take, since he, let's say, decided it's an OT cyber attack, is whether to shut down the system or not, shut down the operation or not. If he shut down the operation of this power station, it costs him around $1 million a day. These are the loss of revenue. Okay, it's a power station of around 1 gigawatt.
Yeah,
that's more or less the revenues. Okay, but if he doesn't shut it down, okay, and the cyber attack continues and creates critical damage to the assets, that means to the turbine, okay, that produces the electricity, this can take weeks or months to repair because there's no extra turbine in the storage house, right? You have to bring it from another country to install it, so on and so forth. So that's the biggest decision in the career of a CISO. Okay, maybe these two decisions: is it a cyber attack or not, or and then should I press the button or not? And this is how Amir came to the notion that he has to provide tools, real tools and information to support the CISO in these critical moments of his career. Okay, that's the founding, let's say, enlightenment moment.
Amazing. Did he press the button?
In that case, yes.
Yeah.
Press the button, shut down the system, repaired, and then continue the operations.
Amazing. Brilliant. And in terms of Siga themselves, obviously you've gone into a little bit of how the business was founded and the ideas, but who are Siga for those that don't know? Like, what is it you guys do day to day?
Okay, so basically we provide tools for cyber OT detection. And basically we follow up what is called the NIST framework for taking care and responding to cyber OT attack. If you want, I can show you quickly this framework and how we fit in. So coming back to this presentation.
Brilliant.
Share it again. So basically, this is the NIST framework. Let's put it on full screen. Give me a second. So basically, we provide tools to support the NIST framework that says, you know, first of all, you have to have tools for detection and analysis of a cyber OT tool. Then you have to take this critical decision of, you know, is it a cyber OT attack or not? Should I shut down or not? So you need to provide information to support this decision. After the attack was contained, you need to do post activities like forensics, analyze lessons learned, and then you have to prepare to the next possible attacks. So we provide early detection tools. Okay, I'll show exactly how it's done. And then we provide a lot of information both to the CISO and the operational guys to support them in the containment decision. What to do? Shall I continue with cautious or stop the operations? Since we are collecting a lot of information before, during, and after the attack, we're collecting a lot of information from all levels of the system. It's very helpful in doing the next stage, which is cyber forensics, to analyze how the attack happened, how it evolved, and take the lessons learned. And in Atlanta, we also launch a tool that enables the teams, both the cyber and operation, to prepare themselves to the next attack by doing attack simulations. So what are we actually doing? First of all, we're using what we call Siga ML Square, process-oriented OT cybersecurity. ML Square stands for multi-level machine learning approach. We implement machine learning in all the levels of Purdue model. What you see over here on the left side is a model developed by Purdue University in the 90s of you know, the former 1000, 1990 or so. And this basically it's meant to analyze the different levels or layers in the OT and IT. So Siga has today 3 products. One is SigaGuard that is collecting data in a very unique way in level 0, where the real assets are, the pumps, the valves, and so on. We're basically duplicating the electrical signal between the controller, the PLC, and the asset, and converting it to data, and learning over time with machine learning what is the normal behavior of the process. The process itself. Process can be power production or chemical production or pharmaceutical or even water cleansing and so on. So we learn what is normal behavior, then we can start alerting on anomalies. We do the same today with a new product called SigaGuard X, but in level 1 to 4. Okay, we collect digital information about the process from the controllers or from the control software, which is called HMI, that sits in the control room, or from its database. Over time, we learn the normal behavior, and we can start alerting on anomalies in these levels. And very, very important, we can compare between what is seen in the control room and in the PLCs and what is seen in the physical layer. So maybe the most famous attack in OT cyber called Stuxnet, or what is called false data injection. Basically, somebody manipulated what's going on in the controller, said to the control room everything is fine, but over here did some bad things. Siga can identify that immediately by the comparison. And more important, we talked also about training. Okay, so after we learned your process, your specific process of cleansing water or production of power, we can simulate attacks without interfering with the process by software only, and train the teams, train the cyber team and the operational team, what they do in different types of attacks according to their threat scenario. That's very, very important. With these tools, we provide them the capability to train, versus possible attacks, develop their own what is called playbook, what they do in each case, develop the language, and rely on real-time online information from the physical layer and from the digital layer of the sky. So that's the approach we are doing in order to support this NIST framework.
Amazing. Cool. And those two products that were together, were they the two new products, or are they?
Yes, CyberGuard X is the new product for learning the normal behavior and alerting on anomalies in level 1 to 4, plus comparing to the physical layer. And SIGA Process Attack Simulator, is the attack simulators.
Perfect. And how have customers and prospects taken to that? Obviously, I know it's been only a very few weeks, right, in terms of the products being launched.
Yeah, but we did the official launch in Atlanta, but we did some soft launch about 8-9 months ago. So it's already working in the field, and the reactions are very good. It helped us do several things. First of all, with the Siga Pass, it's much easier to close projects because we promise we're going to alert you on this, on this, on this, on this. Customer said, okay, show me. So with Siga Pass, we can show it because we simulate an attack. They get the alerts, done deal. Okay, so that's first feedback. The second feedback is during the sales process, or let's say in sometimes in the sales process you have to do a proof of value. That means the customer wants to see something before he signs the check. Okay. Now, before launching CyberGuard X and Siga Pass, we are having CyberGuard, which involves both hardware and software, which makes it much more cumbersome to do. With CyberGuard X, it's software only. Siga Pass is software only. We recently did some POV like that in logistics centers in Memphis, in the US, for a very large international company. I don't want to mention the name, but they are into control systems and so on. So there are 3 conveyors in this logistics center. So it was very easy using CyberGuard X to connect to this conveyor. And in 2 weeks' time, we learned all the I/O points, all the controllers. We learned the behavior of the system. And we could simulate immediately cyber OT attacks and show them the value. And also recommend them that out of 300 tags of IOs, of controllers, that we saw in these conveyors in the digital layer 1 to 4, we recommend to connect in level 0 only to 10, which are 3 engines running these conveyors and another IO point. So it made the whole project flow much easier, much quicker, show the value to the customer quicker. We are there also with the resellers, so they saw it as well. And it basically makes things much easier also to our channels to show and to sell and to demonstrate also through presentation, because it's all these things can be done remotely.
Brilliant. Cool. Thank you for that. And look, I appreciate you jumping on the presentation as well. Can't say I've ever seen that before. So that was brilliant. In terms of Siga, where is the business at today? Look, you're an early stage startup. We understand that. What's been the challenges sort of trying to get to where you are today, and obviously then to keep growing as well?
Yeah, well, cyber OT in general is in its, let's say, early stages. There are not always budgets for it. There's not enough awareness about it. Regular CISO is mostly concentrated in IT, defending his data, while OT Cyber is defending your real process, your money machine of the organization, if you're producing something. Okay. So it's a different mindset, different challenge, different people. Usually, until now, with CyberGuard, that has both hardware and software, we had to talk both to the CISO team and the operational team. Today, with these two new products, we need, first of all, the first stage is talk only to the CISO team. We can implement the proof of value, show the value only with the CISO team.
Hmm.
And then we want to implement also the hardware. Then we can involve also the operational guys. But that's done after the CISO has seen the value, so it's easier.
Hmm.
So the challenges are, in general today, every cyber company having the same challenge, which is the CISOs are really bombed with so many different products. They try to just, throw you away the window. So you really need to develop a good and effective approach how to present your solution and value to very busy CISOs
Hmm.
that are really attacked. There were not enough, let's say, events that were reported of cyber OT attacks in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, but in the last 2 years, much more attacks that are reported. Maybe the last famous one was Halliburton in August 2024.
Yeah.
They were attacked. They had to report to the stock market. The stock went down. They had to stop operations. So this is becoming not a matter of if you're going to be attacked, but just a matter of when.
Wow.
Okay. We also presented in Atlanta that Palo Alto did some research on that, and they found that 24% of the CISOs that they interviewed admitted that they had a cyber OT attack in the last year that enforced them to stop their operations.
Wow.
The issue is that they don't have to report it all the times. If they don't need to report it, they would not report it. So we see also involvement of more regulation that are, let's say, forcing critical infrastructure organization to report any attack like that. So the challenge is to get to the right people, to make sure that they are conscious enough to the risks and present the value.
Brilliant. I was going to ask you the question, how big do you think the threat is? But you kind of just summed that up in what you just said. So I'll flip the question slightly. How do you believe, like, even we as people could potentially start improving this OT sort of major issue, I suppose? Like, what do we need to do?
So, I'll share with you some presentation I saw from the CISO of Teva Pharmaceutical
Hmm.
about 5, 6 years ago. He's really a very talented guy. They have 70 factories around the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, in the IT, he's the king. The
Yeah.
IT skills, he has all the authority to defend their data and so on. In the OT, he has to ask permission from the operational guy to step in the factory. And of course, usually cannot remote access to it. So this is the real challenge of the cyber OT. It's a matter of consciousness and developing the right tools and let's say working methods with the operational guys, because they are really the money machine of this kind of organization. Okay, if a pharmaceutical factory has to stop operation because of cyber attack, to get it up and running again, it's not just moving the factory back, the regular procedure of chemical process and so on, but they also have to get authorization from the FDA, explain the FDA why the attack happened, how they're going to prevent it. So it's a big challenge. So I think more and more organizations are starting now to understand the challenge and that they have to do it.
Hmm.
Another thing that is supporting is the regulations. More regulations are coming, first of all, as recommendation, and then becoming more obligatory to implement. So this is the trend now. This is the trend. This is what we see in the market.
Brilliant. And look, obviously your time at Siga, you're coming up to 3 years, but you also spent another almost 3 years with OpSWAT, where I know they're more critical infrastructure side of things, not specifically in OT, but From your experiences and your exposure to this market, do you see the kind of state improving, or is there still a long way to go?
Still a long way to go, but you see improvement. You see these organizations, because they're looking around them and see others get hit. This is becoming more important. The slow implementation has to do with many reasons. Okay, this kind of industry is very conservative by type. Just as I told you, the CISO cannot step in the factory without operation guys' approval.
Yeah.
These guys are engineers. I'm an engineer. Okay, if something works, you don't touch. So there is also a lot of vulnerabilities because they tend not to do patches if they don't need to. For example, more vulnerabilities. But the other thing that is making it more obvious and coming also to the boardrooms is the geopolitical situation. There are a lot of wars going on now, unfortunately. You know, Russia, Ukraine, in the Middle East, and so on. The cyber OT is becoming one of the dimensions of the war. It's becoming a front line. So they have to take care of it, not the way around. Okay. So I think this will influence this market a lot. Budget will be allocated as let's say regular budgeting of every year, not only for the IT but also for the OT. It's already there in the more mature organizations. We will see more and more the role of OT CISO. Okay.
Okay.
We're working a little bit with Alstom, international company. You know, they do power, they do trains, they do many things.
Yeah.
They got IT CISO and they got OT CISO.
Wow. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, we see that coming more and more. The other thing that we see also in the more mature organization is that there will be a, let's say, corporate IT and OT cyber team, but there will be also people in the factories that are responsible for cyber, for education, for implementation of tools, IT and OT cyber in the factories themselves, reporting both to the operational manager in the factory and to the cyber team in the corporate. So these things are moving things into better defense, basically.
Brilliant. And if businesses out there don't necessarily have budget set aside for OT projects, what one bit of key advice would you say, like, why do they need to start setting budget aside for OT? What's that one bit of advice that you would give them?
Well, I would start with a risk assessment. Okay, evaluate your risk to your business. If your core business is producing something and you got a production line, either power or pharmaceutical or chemical or water, whatever, do the risk assessment and then implement one by one the tools that reduce the risk. This would be my advice to an organization.
Brilliant. And final question from me, Amir, to wrap this up. For Siga, obviously, things are always evolving in OT security. We've almost touched on every kind of point of that here, but how as a business are you guys going to stay innovative to stay ahead of any trends that are upcoming or further sort of OT security kind of startups that want to kind of challenge you in this space?
Well, basically, what we see today is that we're quite unique in few dimensions. One, when we are looking at level 0, at the process level, we're actually collecting data in a way that cannot be manipulated because we are collecting it from the electricity signals between the PLC and the asset. This is physics. You cannot manipulate it. So this brings us a lot of value and, let's say, competitive edge. The second thing that is important is that we are looking into the process itself, which is the asset. The asset of this pharmaceutical company I mentioned, Teva, is their process, their capability to produce the drugs in a very accurate way according to the standards. So if somebody wants to hurt them, he will aim at the process and this is our approach. We are looking at the process. This is also very unique. And the third, I think, key point is the holistic approach that we apply to all levels of the process, from level 0 up to the control room, and the combination of attack simulation. That means we are looking at as a process that includes technology, processes, and people. And the attack simulation enables all these components to be working together, tested together, and implement, let's say, their playbook, how they defend themselves, how they react when an attack happens. So I think all these aspects gives us a very unique advantage on the other players in the market.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you jumping on, Amir. It's been a great insight to what Siga do, and I'm really, really excited to see where you guys are in the future as well.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's show, please like and share with your friends and colleagues, as this is really important for the show's reach. If you'd like to be our next guest or are interested in Aspiron Search's staffing solutions, please get in touch directly with me or reach out to us via our website www.aspironsearch.com.